Kylie and Sir Tom Jones live from the Royal Albert Hall at 8. Now on BBC One, Ronnie O'Sullivan takes his cue in the Snooker World Championships.
Hello again. We've had Gold Coast, we've had Augusta, we've had Aintree. Now April's sporting compass is pointing squarely at Sheffield, at this trophy and at the annual snooker marathon that is the Betfred World Championship. Now, temperatures may be soaring around the country, but no matter what the weather is doing every April, it always boils up to a brilliant finish inside the famous Crucible Theatre. Now, the world #1 Mark Selby is well used to taking the heat. He returns this time going for 3 in a row and a 4th world title in total.
You're doing it for them, really. They're the people who supported me over the years and wheeled me on when things are not going good. When they're going great, it's obviously great to have them there as well and share the moment with them. Every snooker player's dream, I think. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. The first one will always be special to win it for that very first time, but winning it for the second and third time was just as special as the first. I've been really consistent over the last 3 or 4 years, so at some stage I was always going to have a little blip where I wasn't playing as good, and that seemed to be this year. The start of the season was sort of a non-runner really, with me breaking my toe. I was out for about 2 months. But then saying that, I'm judging it on last season where I won 5 tournaments, so whatever I achieved this year was always going to be a failure compared to last year.
He's a credit to the sport and his family. He's the jester from Leicester. He's Mark Selby.
It's going to be great walking out there as defending champion Saturday morning. Can't wait to get going now. Anything less than winning it, obviously I'm disappointed, so you have to come to tournaments believing that you can win, and I'll come here this year believing I can win, and that's all you can ask for.
Once again, your champion, Mark Selby!
And so our lineup for 2018 looks like this. The reigning champion Mark Selby goes for 3 Crucible crowns in a row. Tough start against Joe Perry. New Masters champ Mark Allen meets fellow lefty Liam Highfield, one of 4 new boys. Welcome back 2-time Crucible finalist Matthew Stevens facing 9th seed Kyron Wilson. A former winner here, Sean Murphy, has the red-hot Welsh qualifier Jamie Jones in his way. He's lost to him before. Another quest for a 5th world title for John Higgins begins against Thai debutant Tipchaya. Another winner, Stuart Bingham, against a very confident and capable Jack Lazowski. Belgium's Luca Brissell meets former semi-finalist here Ricky Walden. And will it finally go right for the exciting Judd Trump? Another new boy, Chris Wakeland, hopes not. Crucible runner-up 2 years ago, Ding Junhui meets fellow Chinese human Tiao Guodong. Welshman Ryan Day hasn't won a title till this season. Now he's got 3, facing Anthony McGill. First big test today after eye surgery for Hong Kong's Marco Fu against Liu Haotian. Crucible specialist Barry Hawkins against Grimsby's world number 56 Stuart Carrington. Mark Williams is back, and how? 3 titles this term. He's got Sussex pro Jimmy Robertson. Can Aussie Neil Robertson prolong the Gold Rush sporting glow? Unfinished business for him against Rob Milkins, whilst a granite fest between Ali Carter and Graham Dott again. And man of the season, 5 title O'Sullivan soars into Sheffield to meet Glasgow's Stephen Maguire. And that will be happening, that match, at 2:30. Meanwhile, our lineup would never be complete without Messrs Parrott and Davis here. They've long since put their cues away, but they still talk a good game, which is probably just as well, fellas, actually. When you look at that draw, that's one of the toughest we've seen, isn't it?
We don't want to be anywhere in that draw. I had a look at it, I thought it was fantastic. Brilliant field this year, as competitive as I can ever remember.
Now, Mark Selby, defending champion, is going for 3 in a row. You know that feeling. Only you and Stephen have ever managed to pull that off. However, he talked about a blip this season. He certainly had one, but looked like he's found his mojo coming to Sheffield at last.
Yes, he won in China recently. It's always nice to get a result under your belt coming into this event. But I think from his perspective, yeah, looking at that bit of an interview there, not right to call it a failure if you don't do so well in the season. It's just hard in today's marketplace to keep on winning. So, last year was a brilliant season. This year, not as good. But I wouldn't say failure. You know, it's, unfortunately, you're judged by your results. And if you've got a standard to play to, you are going to judge yourself by previous years. But such is the standard of players. You've just got to sort of wait your turn a bit more, I think.
Yeah, following up a 5-win season is going to be tough for anybody. We saw it with Ding Junhui, actually, a couple of years ago, didn't we? A lot of focus on the so-called class of 92. The guys who turned pro 26 years ago, Ronnie O'Sullivan, John Higgins and Mark Williams. Between them, they've won 11 of the 25 individual tournaments this season.
A phenomenal achievement, and to be playing still at the level that they're playing all those years later is just incredible. I didn't realise it was that many, but I should have known you'd know that sort of thing, because that's what she does. But it is a phenomenal achievement from all of them. Mark Williams in particular, I think, because a couple of seasons looked like if he hadn't gone, he was certainly on his way out. I mean, to turn his seasons round to play, it's fantastic for him.
But the man of the season has to be Ronnie, with those 5 major world ranking titles. And he comes here in a quest for a 6th. We talked earlier on about how he protests a little bit, that he's not fit enough, he doesn't quite have the stamina levels, but he's the fittest of any of these guys on the circuit, isn't he?
He is, and I think this year he's mentally got himself together wonderfully for the season. Don't like some of the talking about not thinking that he can concentrate so well for this event. He doesn't like the length of it and the fact he might have to play the same person on day after day. You know, you've got to be prepared for the job in hand. So perhaps that's the only area that I would say he's vulnerable in, is going off the boil in a 2-week event, whereas I think he can keep his focus, certainly in a 1-week event.
OK, well, if it's not going to be the golden generation, then what about some of the younger lads? Trump, Kyron Wilson, Mark Allen, of course, who's just become the Masters champion. There's a whole host of guys who'd love to win it for a first time here.
Yeah, personally, I think Ding's been very unlucky not to have won one already. He's had a final where he's lost to Selby, a semi-final, an epic that he lost to Selby. So it's been Selby who's gone on to win, who's been the one that stopped him progressing. He certainly has got a chance of winning it. And for Judd Trump, well, it sounds harsh, but he's got to start doing it now. He has got to start, and he's not promising anymore. He is a top-class professional who's been around a long time. He has got to start performing at this event. And whether his B game is good enough for him to win a World Championship is what is in question. But it's not. The talking's over with him now. He's got to start winning. OK, some tough talk. Day 1, 17 days of it to come. Keep your powder dry, John. There's plenty of time to go. And in fact, if you're just kind of breaking yourself in gently on this opening day of the World Championship, you are most welcome, as you always are, to this fantastic event. But you might be popping in and out, preparing the barbecue in this wonderful weather. But hey, we've been cooking with gas since 10 o'clock this morning. The defending champ always does the honours, and Mark Selby rather enjoys his early starts on opening Saturday. We'll catch up with his first session against Joe Perry. Nervous times for Marco Fu. The Hong Kong star's been out of action since January after eye surgery. First test against the first-timer, Liu Haqian, today. And live from 2:30, Ronnie O'Sullivan, fresh from a first resplendent 5-win season, is the bookies' favourite for title number 6. But former world number 2, Stephen Maguire's a no pushover for anyone. The Scot is in dangerous devil-may-care mode here. Well, it's always a really special moment on opening day, 10 o'clock in the morning. All of the 900 seats are sold, the doors open, in come the crowds. There's a real buzz of excitement and a real sense of anticipation about what's to come as we follow the intrigue of the next 17 days. And always one of the key performers on opening morning has recently been Mark Selby, and as is tradition, it's always the champion that gets us underway. I wonder how he felt about facing a qualifier. It's Joe Perry, probably one of the ones you would most like to avoid. He's a former top 10 player.
Always great to see the opening shot in the World Championship, and it's the defending champion who's going to get this match underway. It should be a cracker. That's excellent. Great shot. He takes the opening frame and leads Mark Selby 1-0.
Held his nerve and leads the defending champion Mark Selby by 2 frames to 0.
Wow, what was that? An unbelievable scoreline, it has to be said. The defending champion yet to get a frame on the board. Joe Perry leads 4 frames to 0. Who would have thought it?
Well, it certainly wasn't in the script. Now, 43-year-old Joe had to win 3 qualifying matches to make his return to the Crucible. It's been 2 years since we last saw him here. Has memories himself, of course, of a run to the semi-final, so he's a hugely experienced and very canny competitor. But the bookie's second favourite has been left in his blocks. A contribution of 74 finally got him a frame on the board, and the defending champion now in frame 6 of the 8 in this opening session. Let's rejoin them here. Remember, first to 10 is going to go through. Ken Doherty and Dennis Taylor, your commentators.
One. Needs to keep travelling the wrong side of the blue. Might be able to screw back and leave the red to the right of the pink. Now you see it's just the wrong side of that blue line to get towards the reds. Maybe the one next to the black is possibly on. So he's got the one to the right of the pink and the one to the right of the black. It's the one to the right of the pink he's screwing back for. And as I mentioned, I think the black is available.
6.
Needs a good shot though. And that's not a good shot. Missed that by a long
Joe
way.
Perry 6.
It's amazing how the mid-session interval can turn matches around, and the number of times we see it as Joe made a poor effort at that. Well, you can see by the face he has pulled down what he thought of that.
Yeah, it's not exactly straightforward, this. May try and use the other red. One pot in this one, try and get up. Well, he's just left the cue ball there.
1.
It's either a long blue into the top left-hand corner pocket or try and cut this pink into this bottom left-hand corner pocket. The blue for me is a better shot. At least you're looking down the line of the pot. It's one of these type of shots that the players practice quite a lot. Good shot.
Six. Okay. 7.
Just about the right angle on the blue. Quite sure where the black pot's into the
12.
right centre. If he could do, he could get on it nicely here. No. So we've still got a bit of work to do here.
Well, if the pink goes, I think its own spot might be available. But it might just put it out of commission. But the way he's looked there, if he pots the pink and plays for the red that's closest to the cue ball. And then when he removes this red, it'll free the black up into the left corner pocket. Plenty of room for the pink.
90.
So he can come round the back of this red that's near the black spot and get onto the black. If he hits it a bit harder, he's always got the blue to land on, but he'd love to get on that black to the same pocket here, and then that would certainly open the game up. So he's playing around for the blue. He needs to pull up a little
20.
bit. Because he was going to cannon into the pink and reds here and free quite a bit of the game up, but he's gone a little bit further than he intended. He's just got to be a bit careful with this one now. Yep, the chance is there now, and as I say, at the mid-session interval, as we show you the cannon there again, the mid-session interval seems to have turned the match around.
$26.
Red pots at the bottom of this
33.
pack of reds here.
$34.
It's going to need a good split. Okay, the red to the left of the four that are tightly packed together. That does pot, but may go into the reds here. Open them all out, and that's worked out a three. Excellent shot. Couldn't have played that much better. Nicely controlled. And this is
42.
more like it from Mark Selby. Using all his match play instincts here.
$49. $50.
This is typical of Mark Selby. 4-0 down, comes out after the mid-session interval, made a break of 74.
57.
And now this. That's what multiple winners do. And as I said, to have won 3 world titles in the last 4 years in the modern game is quite exceptional. So he's on track now to get back to his best.
$58.
52 in front, so the black and one more red would give him a second frame.
$65. $66. $72. $73.
You know, we talk about Mark not having the best of seasons, but he still made 44 centuries breaks this season.
80.
Made 56 last season, and of course he's one of the game's great break builders. 518 centuries in his career. And it's like 86. A whole new player we're looking at in this second little mini session.
87.
He looked a little bit embarrassed, Ken, didn't he? And when he was going 4-0 down, he was looking up at a few of his friends, a little smile, you know. He was really under it, but he's come through that sticky patch.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes the interval can come at a good time or a bad time for you, but certainly from Mark Selby's point of view, it came at a good time. Not a good time for Joe Perry. He would have loved to have kept going, but Mark Selby has missed the red and the possible chance of a century break still. He won't be bothered about that. He gets another frame on the board. The comeback continues, but it's still Joe Perry who leads by 4 frames to 2.
Well, the comeback looked like it was on until Perry took charge of the next with a knock of 59 to go 5-2 in front. Into frame 8 now, which is the penultimate of this first session. Selby, the 3-time world champion, snookered behind the brown.
It was always going to be difficult.
Yeah, normally he's the best in the business, but in this match so far, Ken, his safety's been all over the place. And it looks as if he can make a plant of these 2 reds. There's the safety success percentage for both players. Well, he's looked at the possibility of the plant there. I don't think it's in line for the pocket, but there's enough space between the 2 reds to make it into a plant. It's just going slightly to the right of the pocket, so no problem making that.
One.
Always gets a round of applause, a plant, no matter how easy.
Seven. Eight. Can you be quiet with the sweet wrappers, please? Thanks.
Unless you want to share one.
Yeah, told him to be quiet with the sweet wrappers. Nothing is off-putting when it's quiet and somebody's trying to open a sweet slowly.
Good chance this, Dennis.
40.
Plenty of reds and open
50.
play. Blue, pink and black also available. If you can try and get on the red just below the black. Well, he didn't try to on this occasion. Just going to say, if you got on the red just to the left of the black, you could have opened the black
20.
up into both corner pockets. Not the best positional shot he played there. He recovered the situation though.
21.
The blue does pot. Yeah, that's his target. 65
26.
before his opponent will need a snooker.
Thank you. 27.
Yeah, I just realised this is the first time these two players have played each other at the Crucible. One of Mark's
34.
wins was in the 2005 World Championship, but that was in the qualifiers, so it wouldn't have been at the Crucible.
35.
Beat Joe 10-2 on that occasion, but yeah, it's their first meeting at the Crucible, and at the moment the defending champion is looking very vulnerable. There's one more frame to be played after
42.
this one. Okay, Joe's got a few balls to pot yet before securing a 6-2 advantage, but he's well on the way.
$48. 49. $55. 56.
Still going to need one more red after the colour. Checking the scoreboard there. 52 ahead. Pink will be 58. And this red along the cushion will secure the frame. He won't be doing
62.
a great deal with this, just make sure of the pot. Well, he did hammer it in, but
63.
that was virtually frame ball. And a huge last frame coming up for the defending champion, Ken.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to say, hats off to Joe Perry here. He's
70.
certainly rallied after Mark came out and won those first 2 frames after the mid-session interval.
71.
He hasn't wobbled yet, Joe Perry. He's not likely to either. Very steady player. lots of experience. It's going to have to be Mark Selby that's going to have to up his
76.
game if he's going to win this match. You mentioned about how well he
77.
played in the qualifying matches, won 3 matches to get here. Beat Mark Davis in that last match. Difficult from here to keep the break going. It's close. It's close. Oh, what a shot.
84.
Excellent pot.
Joe Perry, 84.
He followed up a great shot with a bad one, but he's not too bothered. He's won another frame. He put a little bit more daylight between himself and the world champion. Joe Perry leads Max Selby by 6 frames to 2.
Thank you.
Yeah, Joe Perry, you've got to say, looking very sharp, very composed. And Ken made the point that, of course, he's come through 3 best-of-19 frame matches just to be here, having beaten Jimmy White and his best friend Mark Davis en route. So he really is in the groove. By the way, you really do know that it's the Crucible when the referee is telling the crowd to be quiet with their sweetie wrappers. I just love that. Joe Perry is now aiming to turn the screw in the last frame of this opening session. And it's off we go to Selby at the table.
Well, there was no attempt at the pot there. It was just trying to get the cue ball back towards the baulk area, but he's hit it so badly. Red nearly went in, but left Joe again. Another good opportunity here.
1.
Just gotta be careful of the cue ball here. We can't miss the reds and come off the top cushion because of that red on the left hand side of the table. He's got to avoid. Just about played it nicely.
6.
Nicely on this red, just above the black, into the right-hand corner pocket. He's also on the red that he's closest to as well. He could drop that in if he wishes.
Yep.
He's going to get the extended rest out. Great opportunity, Dennis, for a 7-2 lead going into this evening's session.
Yeah, we always knew the defending champion was going to have a tough match with Joe Perry, but we didn't really see this coming, but he deserves what he's got there. He's put Mark under extreme pressure, and he's doing well as Gentleman Joe. Well, he was. Oh, I thought he'd missed that. I thought he'd missed that.
7.
Let's have a look at this again. I mean, oh. Wow. Nude cloths. You know, when they're bedded in a few days, that maybe wouldn't have slid in off that angle there.
Forty. $50.
quite hard enough. He can still pot the red in the right corner, but he's having to cannon into another red now. He could have done without that. White another 6 inches further would have been ideal. But no problem.
23.
Just one more good positional shot and he's right back in amongst them. He's lost his chalk at the moment.
28.
Slightly closer to this left-hand side cushion that he would have liked. May just stun the black end for the red that's closest to this bottom right-hand corner pocket along the top rail. I settled for that. I could have gone wrong.
36. $37.
Nicely played. Little cannon into the pink there just to hold the cue ball.
44.
You can't really see where he's going to fail from this position here.
45.
To hold a 7-2 lead against the defending champion and world #1 going into this evening's session.
Yeah, he's been world #1 for something like 38, 39 months.
52. $53.
Joe's been above 90% pot success rate throughout this match. He was up at 95% at one stage.
6.
So it's great stuff.
$61.
Back at 7 o'clock this evening for the conclusion of this first round match, and wow, what a mountain he's going to have to climb.
Well, it's happened before.
66.
Where players have come back from 7-2 in the first round. It doesn't happen very often.
67.
And particularly against experienced players like Joe Perry. He's got a mountain to climb tonight, Mark Selby.
74. 75. $81.
He looked almost certain
82.
to make a century in the previous frame. He got to 84 and missed an easy one, but always nice if you can make a century break, but as long as you make enough to win the frame, that's the main thing.
89.
Oh, I thought he'd missed that one as well. He's wobbled a few in this break.
90.
I think Joe thought that had missed as well.
97. Thank you. 98.
So just the green to give Joe his first century in this year's Betfred World Championship. And what a time to do it. Turn up to Joe Perry.
102.
And he might take the lot if he can pot the black and bring the yellow off the cushion. Just hit it too hard.
109.
Yellow's not in, but what a performance from gentleman Joe Perry.
Joe Perry.
He leads the defending champion Mark Selby by the scoreline of 7 frames to 2. The world champion's got a lot to do this evening.
And you've got to say, what an amazing session from Joe Perry's perspective. He hasn't been here for a couple of years and he looked completely at home once again, didn't he?
Well, the boys were saying to me he played brilliant qualifying. He'd been hitting the ball lovely and he certainly saw it there. What's most impressive is the fact he's pressed from 4-0 to 4-2. And those games then could go out and then he's pulled away again to finish 7-2. And that was really impressive.
Well, the interesting thing from Mark Selby's perspective is word reaches us that Stephen Hendry's recovery from 3-6 down to Jason Ferguson when Stephen was defending champion in 1996 is the largest margin overturned in a first-round game by a defending champion. Now, you know what? Mark Selby's going to have to do something that no one has ever done before. He's capable of it, but how likely is it, do you think, John?
Not very, if I'm being honest. It's going to be monumental, but he's also going to need a little bit of help. And by that, I mean he's going to have to see Joe Perry collapse because he's hitting the ball too good, Joe Perry. He's going to get chances in the match, whatever happens, no matter how well Mark Selby plays, if indeed he does play well. He's going to need a collapse from Joe, and I don't see that coming the way he's hitting the ball. He's playing too well.
I remember it was Marco Fu, actually, last year was 7-1 down to Luca Brissell and won 9 of the last 11, something like that. But that was an extraordinary happening at the Crucible. Do you think he's in the kind of stroke to be able to pull that off?
I never like to say never where Mark Selby's involved. I never thought anybody could give John Higgins 6-frame start in a world final, but he did it and managed to come back. So I'd never say never with him. But if he'd have won the last frame of the session for 6-3, maybe. But I think 7-2 is just too much, even for him.
We shall see, because they'll be back at 7 o'clock, because the defending champion always plays to a finish on the opening day. 7 o'clock for the second deciding session between Selby and Perry. Now, Ronnie O'Sullivan, regardless of the kind of season that he's had, when he turns up at the Crucible, he is usually installed as the bookmaker's favourite. But not just red-hot favourite this time, he's the molten-hot favourite this time. After a season in which he's entered 14 events, he's got to the finals in 7 of them and won 5 tournaments. Extraordinary for a man of 42 years of age. He's getting better and better. Vintage form, and it's the hallmark of a global superstar that he can continue at this level regardless of what game you play.
The Chinese have a saying, you have 2 lives, 0 to 40 and then 40 to 80. And I feel like I'm in that phase at the moment of kind of what do I want the next 20 years to look like. In the last 2 or 3 years, you know, I've been working on doing other stuff. I'm just trying to juggle a lot of things at the moment. It's not easy, you know, sometimes you don't enjoy any of it because there's no rest time really. Sometimes you feel it's a bit unmanageable. I think just as you get older, you get a bit more wiser, a bit more experienced, and probably my mental approach to the game there is a lot better than it ever has been, and I think that's just been building up over the last 6 years, and you know, it makes you into, you know, you're able to probably win matches and tournaments when you're probably not your best, a bit like Selby and Higgins and players like that have done over the years. He was probably the last person anyone would have wanted in the draw, but then I just thought, well, you know, it's either he's going to play well and I don't play so well and he'll probably win, or if, you know, if I can get that win under my belt, it probably sets me up well for the rest of the tournament. So just looking forward to getting out there. I don't prioritise one tournament over another. For me, just playing snooker is a great joy, a great pleasure. I get the buzz from playing. You know, obviously it's much better when you've got crowds watching you play and you can feel like you can perform. I really do just treat it like another tournament. In fact, I probably prefer the other tournaments because they don't go on as long, and you know, as far as temperaments go, this probably suits me less than other tournaments, but obviously, you know, it's very difficult to turn down playing in Sheffield.
Yeah, Ronnie up against former UK champion Stephen Maguire today, and it looks awfully like O'Sullivan's on a mission to own every major record in snooker. He's got the career centuries in the bag, maximum breaks. He owns the Masters titles at 7, shares the most UK crowns with Steve Davis at 6, shares with Stephen Hendry the most Triple Crown, the majors if you like, in snookers at 18, and he's catching Stephen's record of 36 world ranking titles in total. He's just 3 short. But the one he really wants to have a go at, I'm sure, is to match Henry's 7 Crucible crowns. He's still 2 short. And I wonder if our legends are getting just a little bit twitchy in the commentary box. They're alongside John Virgo.
Well, Hazel, I'm not sure about Stephen. I mean, to win 8, I think is going to be tough for Ronnie O'Sullivan. To win 6, I think is very achievable. But to be quite honest, I'm just pleased to be here these days. Stephen, he's on a roll, isn't he, Ronnie O'Sullivan? I mean, 5 tournaments, his confidence must be very high, regardless of what he says, confidence-wise.
Yeah, very much so. I think his form this season has been exceptional. I think although everyone's talking about this being such a tough draw, he's got a very good record against Steve Maguire recently, so I fully expect him to win. And
you think, actually, the style of Steve Maguire, John, would be a good sort of fillip against Ronnie O'Sullivan, but yeah, I don't think Steve Maguire's beaten him in a long match since 2004, so you'd think the style would be right against Ronnie.
Yeah, absolutely, and the one thing, you know, that Stephen will come in, he won't be frightened of Ronnie, which few people could be, but I agree with Stephen. Ronnie's playing probably the best snooker of his career at the moment. You know, I mean, he's been relentless, and Stephen Maguire's going to have to really play well.
We've seen Mark Selby struggle to get out the blocks against his opponent Joe Perry, who's had 3 matches at the qualifying section. How much of an importance do you think that is when Stephen Maguire comes in sharp?
I think there's definitely something to say about that. The qualifiers that they've only just finished 2 or 3 days ago. Yeah, the first round, I was very surprised at that result, especially after Mark Selby winning in China. Normally, the first round you like to get it over with a minimum of fuss.
Yeah, do you think the draw favoured which player? When they saw the draw come out, who do you think's got the worst of it? Ronnie O'Sullivan or Stephen Maguire?
Well, I think Stephen Maguire. I mean, you could have wished for a lot of easier matches, but Ronnie won't take him lightly because he knows he's a very dangerous player. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a cracker.
That's the one thing about Ronnie. He knows what he has to do.
Yeah, OK, the players are ready backstage, so over to Rob Walker.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. What a sense of anticipation here in Sheffield. This has got to be one of the best lineups we've ever had for a first round session at the Betfred World Snooker Championship. It really could be a very, very special afternoon. Please welcome a player returning for his 16th Crucible appearance, 20 years after his debut. Former Masters winner, former UK champion, twice a World Championship runner-up, 6 times he has made the single table setup here. He is, of course, the Welsh Dragon, Matthew Stevens. And his opponent, returning to the Crucible for the 4th time after back-to-back quarter-final appearances in the last 2 years. Former Shanghai Masters winner, he's made 3 big finals this season, including that memorable Masters showdown. He is the Warrior, he is Kyron Wilson. On table 2, please welcome one of the best break builders in the modern game, making his 15th consecutive Crucible appearance. 3 times he's made the quarters, twice a semi-finalist. Winner of 5 ranking titles in all. He is the pride of Glasgow. He's Stephen the Maverick Maguire. And finally, 25 years after his debut here comes the sport's ultimate entertainer. Even by his own high standards, it has been a superb season with 5 ranking titles so far. 5 times a champion of the world. Blink and you'll miss him. The Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
And so for the 26th year, the Crucible crowd welcomes back the Rocket and wonders how he might throw them some more this time. Stephen Maguire will staunchly and stoically attempt to topple him on the launch pad today, though. At Kyron Wilson against Matthew Stevens. Hard to believe it's been 3 years since we saw Matthew here. That match available online via the BBC Sport app. It's a day for 2 screens. But for now, it's back to Stephen Hendry and to former UK champion John Virgo. Good to see you, John and Stephen. All yours.
Thank you, Hazel. And really looking forward to this match. This has got the makings of a classic if both players play at the best. Ronnie just over hitting that break-off shot. That's why the cue ball has come off the baulk cushion to the baulk line. Chance for Stephen.
Yeah, and to reiterate what I was saying with that interview with Steve Davis, it's the thing that Ronnie O'Sullivan's got in his advantage today, playing someone like Maguire, he knows he's got to play well. And I think that's something that plays to his advantage. Always nice to get a nice, easy starter in the first round of the Crucible. No matter who you are, it's nice to get in amongst the balls early.
6. Seven.
And there's a red. And the red just to the left of the black. I don't know whether it's occupying the black spot. So if Ronnie's got a chance, I think he'd play on that red. The one just to the left of the black to clear the black spot area. It's a good line. It's a bit pacey.
No.
Early tester, easily accomplished. Yeah, it wouldn't take Ronnie long to get the speed of the table. Even that yellow that he just potted, in fact, where the cue ball ended up, that would have told him a lot about the pace. And there you go. That's pretty good there.
12.
We're looking for an angle on the next colour.
13.
Beautifully played. That's a lovely gap to go into the pack. He'll go into the main bunch of 5. Perhaps screw the cue ball. He's just looking at a little gap there. Screw the cue ball to the right-hand side of the table. Lovely pack to go into.
Foul.
Well, first frame or not.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 13.
Pretty sloppy.
Stephen Maguire 7.
Yeah, the 7 points given away because the black that didn't go in the pocket knocked the yellow in. Never in.
Yeah, you could see the way the cue came off his hand after he played the shot. The normal control wasn't there. Maybe a sign of nerves.
One.
I thought I'd missed that at first glance.
Yeah, just struggled in. Yeah, used all the pocket.
No, didn't feel he could get close to a red, so he's left himself
3.
another long red. He missed the first one by a long way. See if we can get any closer with this one. Hand on the table. All right, in the middle of the pocket.
4.
That'll make him feel good.
Pardon? Can you just turn your earpieces down a little bit, please? We can hear him.
Well, there's an open red, but he's got a lovely angle on yellow or green, and it's a big target to go into the bunch.
Well, I think that's worked out okay. He didn't have to play with a lot of power. The reds were loose anyway, and he's got a red, I think, to the left centre. Oh, even one to the right centre.
Stephen Maguire doesn't need me to tell him that these chances he has to take if he's going to win this match. Only one way of putting pressure on Ronnie O'Sullivan is that winning frames in one visit. Even if you take 2 or 3 chances to win a frame, it's not really going to put pressure on him.
Well, we won't get a much better chance than this, will Stephen? It's always costly, though, at this level, when you miss when you're in, and that's exactly what Ronnie did, missing the black off the spot
22
when he was in amongst the balls.
Yeah, if anything, it's perhaps just an in short of being the perfect angle to into the bunch, and he was forcing it a little bit. You still wouldn't expect him to miss the black off the spot. Just play for a little gap between the pink and the 2 reds to the right of the pink to leave one to the left corner here. Just a little stun shot.
That's telling him he needs to get to 61 points to get to the snooker's required stage.
30. $37.
3 more reds will surely clinch the frame. He's just checking.
$38.
So there you see it. Just looking
45.
for red colour red.
$46.
Now, choice is, does he just roll it in and play for the red on the left-hand side cushion? It looks like that's the choice. And if he pots this red, he'll go 48 ahead.
53.
With just 43 remaining.
Thank you. 54.
Taking these very confidently, especially after that first long red, which he missed by a mile. That wouldn't have made him feel too good. But he's got another chance, and he's taken it.
61. 62.
Just needs to run a little bit, that cue ball. Has he gone far enough?
16.
I think just.
$69.
And every chance now. He'll start this match with a century break. We've already had 4.
74.
I think I said it last year, Stephen. I thought the century break record would be beaten, and then it seemed to get into the second week and the centuries dried up. But the standard is as high as ever.
Yeah, I think when you looked at the draw, the 32 players, there's a lot of high scorers in the draw. There's very few matches you think would be long safety affairs. I think it's the best draw we've had in years.
88. $94.
And the black for the ton. Very well played, Stephen Maguire. Ronnie O'Sullivan made a mistake. He missed when he was in, Mr. Black off the spot, and he sat down for the rest of the frame. Stephen Maguire leads 1-0.
And rather like the same way that Mark Selby would not have been looking forward to playing Joe Perry, I wonder if the same is true of Ronnie facing Stephen Maguire, John?
Well, you heard him talk himself and saying, oh, he's just got in one of those matches where if you can get past him. But yes, he was one of the few you want to avoid, really. And if Stephen Maguire is going to have a burden in this match, that's exactly what he's got to do in it, and it's start quickly and show Ronnie O'Sullivan that I'm here to play and I'm going to score if you miss. And he couldn't have done a better example of that in the opening frame.
They do have an interesting history between them, these guys, and in fact they've met. And the first couple of times that Stephen played here, he faced Ronnie in the first round, and this was after Ronnie had bigged him up in 2004, saying he was going to be the man that would rule the game for years and years, and yet he was the guy that actually prevailed in the 2 opening encounters. I think it probably scarred Stephen a little bit in those early days.
May well be, and I think Steve Maguire is the type of player that needs to be playing confidently to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan. And you could argue he's a bit of an underachiever in recent years, but I think the qualifying section of this tournament does lend itself to those players that come through being incredibly sharp. And if that standard gets better year upon year because the competition's higher, then it does become a problem for those top 16 seeds. Yes, it's lovely to be seeded so far through the event, but you're coming in a little bit colder than your opposition.
Yep, had to come through qualifying last year and had a good run to the quarterfinals. In fact, it was his first wins for 5 years here, having done that. And he looks sharp again, doesn't he? The former world #2, Maguire, leads the Rocket.
Yeah, former world #2, in my opinion, he's still a top 8 player. Steve Maguire. I think there's no doubt next season he'll be safely back in the top 16. That was risky. May have gotten away with it. Normally quite measured in the long pots that he takes on, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Stephen will be disappointed to have missed that. He's now looking to see what he's left. Can Ronnie get past the pink? Obviously not. So no pot to go at. But Ronnie won't be immune to the pressure of the seed. Always seems to be the way at the Crucible. It's best of 19. Most of the matches they play are best of 7s, best of 9. But even the best of 19 doesn't seem enough sometimes. But that's the Crucible Theatre, and that's the World Championship, and that's an excellent safety shot there from Stephen. Tap on the table from Ronnie, appreciating that. And he'll have to cue this well to get back to the balk end. Excellent reply. Well played. I'm looking down the line of the shot. Well, I thought he could just pot. Well, he's trying to play the potty and try and manoeuvre the cue ball back to the balk end. Missed the pot by the proverbial. That was a long way off.
Again, it's not often you see Ronnie O'Sullivan try and pop himself out of trouble. He normally finds some way of playing an excellent safety shot.
Problem is with this, obviously he can pot the red, but how does he get the cue ball up the table? He's thought about trying to bring the black into play. I don't think that's on. So screwing off the second red, hoping to be on the blue.
One.
It's not perfect.
And he's got the pink also to left corner, which is a bonus because the blue is an awkward angle.
Now, in an ideal world, he'd like the pink to go on the black spot, and it has.
7.
And if you're really having a good day, the pink will go to the right corner. Whether it does or not, it's hard to tell. Obviously didn't.
8.
And there's your answer. It doesn't go to this corner. So the first opportunity he gets, he'd like to remove that red that's blocking the pink from going into the right corner.
13.
But in the meantime, it's back up for the blue.
$14.
Yeah, puff of the cheeks there, a little bit disappointing. If he got a nice angle on the blue, then he could have stunned down and played for those two reds that's blocking the pink for the right corner. Now he'll probably have to play for the ball in the balk end.
$19.
He'd love to have a nice angle on the blue to be able to play for these two reds that are close to that right corner pocket. Make it a more orthodox chance around the black spot.
I'm surprised he's looking at the red to this corner. It looks like he obviously is adverse to using the rest.
He's normally pretty good with the rest. I'm with you, John. He's much better cueing. And it was great cueing. Table, if anything, looks a little bit heavy.
Yeah, I don't think it's lightning quick. because it takes time to bed in, and while they're fitting it up, all the doors are open, so you get a bit of... Well, it's not been cold there, it's been beautiful in Sheffield. Oh, well, would you believe it? Seems to have done all the hard work, and then misses a blue like that off the spot.
Nice opening pot. It's a blind pocket, but he's not ideal. What sort of angle he's got in this yellow? Playing for those two reds that I mentioned. Choice of two to right corner. No, this is brilliant.
Yeah, judge the line there, absolutely perfect. Not quite certain. I don't see the value in trying to bring the black into play here. He's got the pink just where he wants it. He could have played the cannon, released the black and the red, but he could have finished up on nothing. Well,
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 11.
He's not settled yet, and that's a fact.
Got to make hay while the sun shines. Steve Maguire going to really put pressure on Ronnie O'Sullivan while he's not settled. I don't think he's got the cover.
Yeah, just the edge of the red sticking out there. And he's landed on the yellow.
Three.
Always amazes me with Ronnie how good he is with the rest, considering he, you know, most of the time he plays left-handed.
I know, and that wasn't easy because he was hampered with the green. That was a far better shot with the wrist than it looked.
10.
You know where the elbow is beside that green. You know the way the elbow, it's just raised there. So easy to put side on the cue ball there. Brilliant shot.
11.
Just run a little bit too far on this blue. He wouldn't want to play the cannon, so he's playing for the red. In the middle of that 5 in the middle of the table, there's a red that goes,
16.
and in potting it, he'll release other reds, and he looks to have played it perfectly. Well, would you believe it?
16.
Yeah, look at where the cue balls ended up.
Well, he didn't get through. He just stopped when he hit the cue ball. It was one he's supposed to be running through. I don't know. It's as though he stunned it of some kind. He's not settled. Only the Crucible Theatre does this to players. Stephen having a look at the scoreboard. When he pots this pink, the scores will be level. So he's just wondering, because he's going to need that red near the black, whether now's the time to try and bring that red and black into play. Is there a gap? Well, I'm looking at Stephen's body language. He doesn't look too happy.
7.
No gap there. He's still got a red to the right middle, but there's a bit of pressure on this.
I don't know if the red that he's looking at now goes past the green to the far right corner. That's probably the easiest pot in terms of getting position. If he played the red in the right middle, he'd have to play for black. Big shot. Great shot.
8.
Yeah, very solid. And now he has to say, got the frame at his mercy. Okay, pink and black are a little bit awkward. This makes it a little bit more difficult.
I'd
13.
love the pink to be able to go in the right corner. I think it does. Back up for the blue.
14.
It wasn't the cleanest of pots, but it's in.
Those two reds in the middle of the table, if they're not in good potable position, do you think it's worth playing a little cannon onto them?
Without a doubt. And I think he did. And he's very lucky to still be on a red.
He couldn't have put it any better with his hand.
He's even moved the black to make the pink available to
Yep.
left corner.
Amazing.
20.
And now you'd expect him to win the frame. Pot this pink to 19 points in front. 2 more reds and pinks. And that'll be the second frame.
26.
And Ronnie needs to settle. Got his chances.
27.
Yeah, his last competitive match, he lost 6-1 in China. He made a maximum in the frame he won, but I did watch the match and he was very out of sorts. So this start wouldn't be doing his confidence any good. Long way to go.
33. $34.
It's amazing, John. Sometimes the longer the match, the more desperate you are to get a frame on the board.
Yeah. And that blue now puts Stephen 32 points in front with just 27 remaining.
39.
Well,
Stephen
it was
Maguire.
a very surprising
39.
miss. Okay, 2 snookers needed, but it's encouraging Ronnie to play on. Looking at the potting angle in this red, he knows if he pots, sorry, the yellow, he knows if he pots the yellow, Ronnie won't bother coming back to the table. And that will be the case.
2.
Well, this packed crowd came in to
the
see
frame.
the Ronnie O'Sullivan show, but it's not happened so far. It's all about Stephen Maguire. He leads 2-0.
Looks very composed as well, and Ronnie's handed him a couple of chances. John, you picked one out there. And Ronnie doesn't ever look as emotional in an arena as he once did here, but maybe a few signs of nerves early on here.
Yeah, I mean, JV said in comments, everyone gets, you know, it's only at this stage. He's got a shot here with 5. There's 5 reds. The one in the middle goes. But as John said in comments, it's a shot you have to play with topspin. You run through, it cannons off the other red, comes out for the pink, and he sort of stunned it, so he's certainly not timing the ball well yet.
Even if you have won 5 major titles in the one season and you come in as the man, in a sort of perverse way, does that put even more pressure on you because the spotlight is very firmly on you because of your deeds?
It may do, yes, and there is obviously more eyes on this event, more interviews, more people talking to you about the game and about how you're going to play. So you've got to field all of those questions before, and it does, the excitement builds up. Effectively, it's its own event. Even though form is great, you'd love it coming in, it's not always the yardstick, it's not always the indicator as to who wins this event. And as we get more surprise winners of this event than we do of, say, the UK or the Masters even. It's quite strange how that can be the case.
It's been a long time since Ronnie actually bagged the 5th of his titles, do beg his pardon. And in the intervening years, it's been Mark Selby and Stuart Bingham who really have ruled the roost here. Selby with the 3 titles and obviously Stuart with the 1 here. And the longer this goes on, do the nerves increase every time he's come back here seeking that 6th title, John?
I don't know, we saw that interview with him early, didn't we? I think he's got himself really balanced at the moment. I think he turns up and he takes a bit of pressure off himself. He said he's enjoying playing the snooker out in the arena. That's what he's focused on. And I think he says to himself he's not looking at winning the titles. He just goes out and plays and see what happens. And it's certainly worked wonders this year. I mean, to win 5 tournaments in the modern game is some achievements in 1 year.
It is. In fact, only 3 other guys have done it. Selby, Ding and Stephen Hendry. So he's in a very exclusive club this season. So back we go. Frame 3, Maguire to play.
Yeah, good opening pot there from Stephen. Unfortunately, he couldn't control the cue ball.
Stephen Maguire 1.
Delicate touch. He may well be touching the black, but the fact that the black's not the ball on, referee Jan Baas won't tell Ronnie. Looks easy enough to come off the side cushion and nestle into the main bunch here. The thing is, from Ronnie's point of view, Stephen, he's got nothing to look back on the last 2 frames apart from mistakes. No positives at the moment.
Yeah, you feel he needs to get in, you know, win a frame in 1 visit, make a nice 70 or 80 break. Get in amongst the pink and black, do what he does best. That's what you need to settle yourself down, but he's not looked focused at all to me. A lot of facial expressions, which tells me that he's not on it yet. Normally, Ronnie gives very little away. I think he's just got the cover.
He has. Fortunate. Well, he's playing a swerve. He could pot it, but if he hits it too thick... Well, he did pot it. He did pot it. 1. Problem is, there's no black to play for. And I'm not certain the pink would go to, well, it certainly might go to the right corner. I'm sorry, the right centre. By the way, I think if it did go to the right centre, Stephen, Oh, it does go to the right centre, so it didn't have a lot to do with the cue ball.
Yeah, even if the red was dead straight, you know, he could have, you know, he managed to force a bit of angle in the shot he played, so yeah, I think he could have played for the pink.
Stephen Maguire, 5.
Yeah, pretty good safety shot in the end.
Yeah, strange choice of shot, that last one for me.
Well, a possibility, maybe if he thought even if he got on the pink, where was his next red going to come from? That's pretty good from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Okay, the cue ball's not back to the baulk cushion, but the contact on the red was excellent.
Well, he could never be certain where the reds were going to finish. That was always going to be dangerous.
Play this with a lot of topspin. Okay, could possibly play for the black to the left corner. Or is he playing the deep screw? Maybe playing one of the three, John. Cued that very well.
1.
It's in a strange situation, Stephen Maguire, isn't he, at the moment, because you're almost waiting for Ronnie O'Sullivan to start playing, aren't you? And he keeps making mistakes. It'll be a weird, surreal feeling that Stephen Maguire's got at the moment. But as I said earlier, he's got to take advantage.
Yeah, just concentrate on your own game. And make the most of these opportunities. And at the moment, has to be said, Ronnie hasn't really started. That's not the best kiss, it doesn't appear.
5.
Well, maybe the red that's just around the black spot area, he can just get through to cut it in. It's the only shot he's got, pot-wise.
You know, the while he just doesn't want to let Ronnie O'Sullivan have an easy chance at the table.
Okay. 6.
Again, this is not the easiest position shot here. The blue is quite an acute angle, but he may play it into the bunch. If he plays the green, okay, he's got to leave a gap. Here you see he's looking at it in between the pink and the red to the left of the table. So this is not straightforward. This will take a good shot. And there's a cue ball come too far. Look at the body language.
No.
That wasn't an easy shot.
Yeah, playing the green like that, he's basically played for the gap between the pink and that red to the left of the pink. And he's not found the gap. Now he's hoping this other one goes. It looks mighty tight. Oh. if you were straight behind it, it's probably one of those you feel as though you could squeeze in off the jaw, but from that angle, very low percentage to knock this in. Well, he's done it. He's done it. What a super shot that was.
Choices here. He's got a lovely angle on the green to go into the bunch, but he chooses to play just for the single red here, but he'll be tempted. Well, possibly there's a red available to left corner after potting the black.
13.
Well, he seemed to, when he was queuing up, he seemed to be changing his mind on the shot he was going to play while he was down in the shot. And in the end, decelerated and was lucky to pot the red. And this is a fabulous chance to take a 3-0 lead.
21. $22.
Obviously, if a red goes to right corner, it's a very simple positional shot, but if he has to play for the red to the same pocket as the black, it's going to be a more tricky shot.
$29. 30.
$43 points the lead, only needs
37.
another 17 points to clinch the third frame.
He'll be disappointed in that last shot though. Should never be playing up the table. Okay, might have a gap to play through for the pink, but
38.
relied on the cannon on the red. But he's out of perfect position. This black is missable, forcing it in.
$45.
Well, he can't play for the black, so he'll need red, colour red, for 3-0.
$46.
It's red, 58 ahead then, with just 51 remaining.
52.
He's having it all his own way at the moment, is Stephen. Ronnie, so far, not at the races.
$59.
So well beyond the point where Ronnie will come back to the table.
60.
Made a 101 break in the first frame, Stephen.
67.
No chance of making
68.
a second century here.
Yeah, he's not quite had the cue ball under control the way he did in the first frame. Well, he's played some excellent
75.
shots to recover.
76. $81. 83. 86. 90. 95.
95. What a pity, just overstretching, but he won't mind. It's another frame in the bag. And Ronnie O'Sullivan trails by 3 frames to 0. Well, I bet that water's tasting nice and sweet. You look at the potted history of Stephen Maguire, and there'll be a few stunned people in this Crucible crowd here. Didn't expect this.
Thank you. Fourth
No,
frame.
Ronnie Sullivan's looked very flat
Maguire
so far. Not what you'd expect from someone who's won 5 ranking tournaments and one of the biggest challengers for this event. If I'd had the season he's had, John, I'd be like a coiled spring waiting to get out there.
Yeah, it's just, well, we missed a black off the spot. Missed an easy red in the middle of the table, you know, they all add up. But we know what a great talent he is, so you think, well, eventually he's going to get going. But look at that ice break, 16. This is a man who's made more maximums competitively than anyone, more century breaks than anyone. He's getting up to nearly 950 competitive centuries.
Yeah, you go back to that black off a spot in the first frame. If that goes in, he opens the pack, makes a big break. It could have been very different this match.
Yep. But as you so rightly said, there's a long way to go, but it doesn't seem like that when you sat in that seat and you've not got a frame on the board.
There's pressure on this. Brilliant.
One.
In the end, he's pretty unfortunate as we see this again. Had to get it. Look at where the reds are. I say it's pretty unfortunate not to be in a colour, really. Got to get this cue ball glued to the ball cushion.
Yes, he couldn't risk rolling up to the green and trying to get the snooker behind the green.
Green ball.
And I agree with Stephen, get that cue ball tight to the ball cushion.
Stephen Maguire, 1.
Not tight, but close enough to stop Ronnie O'Sullivan going for the red to left corner and manoeuvring the cue ball through a gap to get the cue ball back up the table. And he's tried to put himself out of trouble a couple of times so far in this match.
And this is a tough shot he's playing here. He's got to hit this absolutely inch perfect. Oh, and did. That is as good a shot as he's played in the match so far.
Yeah, that was top quality.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, to hit it absolutely perfect, and the fact that he missed the yellow just made it even better. And well, Stephen's knocked in a couple of good long balls here. I don't know whether he's got one to go at, unless there's a gap between the yellow and green. Obviously not. Yeah, he couldn't find the line or the length that Ronnie did. So that good safety shot from Ronnie has offered him a chance at this mid-distance red.
One.
Not played it well, positional-wise.
Yeah, played it with a lot of right-hand side.
Six. Seven.
And this is exactly what he needed. A few easy pots to get his cue arm going, get his touch back.
13. 14.
He won't be too fussy about the black being tied up. Pink goes to two corners and two middles. Blue's in the open. So there's a decent chance this to get his first frame on the board.
19. 20.
Yeah, and a chance that has come about by playing an excellent safety shot, and as the great Ray Reardon once said, there's more to this game than potting balls, and that safety shot will give him a little bit of confidence.
26.
It forced the error from Stephen.
$27.
This isn't an easy frame winning opportunity by any means, with the black tied up and the reds a little bit awkward. Ooh, one missing, an easy pink to the middle.
27.
Wow. Just when I thought he'd righted the ship.
Yeah, and there was a lot sort of huffing and puffing. You know, even before he played the shot with the rest, he wasn't happy with that shot. He's not on it at all.
One. Six.
Well, he's on this red. I don't know whether he'd risk trying to bring the black into play here. He's got the angle to cannon the red, so hit the red that's touching the black, and not the black towards the corner. That's what he's looking at now. And the reason he may decide to play this, because it doesn't look any easy path back up the table for the blue. And if this goes right, could be a frame winner. Couldn't have played it better. Could not have played it any better.
It doesn't look like it, but it'll be praying the black doesn't go in its own spot. So on a good look. If it goes in the pink spot, it's a great chance to win the fourth frame. It must be close.
What do you think? Now Stephen said he'll be hoping that that black spot isn't available, and Jan Verhaas comes round. He's got his ball marker.
Oh dear. He's got an angle in the red
14.
to go up for the blue. And the red, that's the highest of the three next to the black. If he finishes high on that, he can cannon into the two reds and black again. And needs a good angle in the blue here.
15.
Needs to run. And just about got the angle. The right side of the blue line. And he's on that red that Stephen mentioned. But you wouldn't want to be putting all your eggs in one basket and saying, right, I'm bound to be on the black. I think you play it with a bit of pace and go up the table for the blue. You could still develop the black, but if you just played a delicate stun, try and be on the black, you could be on nothing. So I think there's value in playing a little bit harder and going up for the blue here.
Yeah, I think he can avoid the two reds closest to his hand if he plays the screw back up for the blue. That's what he's bothered about. He couldn't avoid them. That was always going to be the problem.
21.
But as you see, the way the black finished, he wouldn't have developed the black into a possible position.
Green ball.
So just a safety, but he's reduced his arrears now to just 5 points.
Stephen Maguire. 21.
And that looks a pretty good safety. Easy to hit, but you got to get it safe. Well, he's swerving round because he thinks if he can hit this red that's next to the black, it could go reasonably safe, but well, he's left a couple of tempters, one to the right middle, one to the right corner.
And the thing with this red, because it's quite an acute angle, if you miss it, you can leave the red over the pocket. Safely in.
One.
Is he even on the black? I was looking at the potting angle, so he must be on it. But he's left himself about as far away from the black as possible.
could have worked out better. I don't think any of these three reds go to this right corner. He's got the one to the far right corner. Three points to lead. And a good shot. And while he's at the table, he's every chance he could win the frame at this visit.
Stephen Maguire, 14. Keep the noise down, please. Thank you.
Oh, there's a gap. You can't believe it between the green and brown. Ronnie can pot this red.
There's always a gap.
What a turning point this could be. If he pots his red and wins the frame. Steve Maguire thought he played a great safety shot. I did as well.
Where's the cue ball going?
Stephen Maguire,
Unbelievable.
4.
You could have another 100 goals at that and wouldn't going off in the middle. Amazing.
Doesn't look to be tempted by the red. It's closest to the corner pocket, playing that for off 2 cushions for the black. Looking to keep it tight. Big target behind yellow, green and brown.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to go too negative though, does he? You know, he's got an opportunity here for 4-0. Be pleased with that outcome. I think the red on the right hand side of the table is covered by the blue, and in playing safe off this, he's got to be careful he doesn't run into that red. This isn't a straightforward return to the balk end by any means. No, caught the other red, always looked on. Well, he's left the red on. The only advantage for Ronnie, he's left the cue ball close to the cushion. So it just makes it that little bit more difficult a pot for Stephen.
It's not the nicest angle either. Needs to keep so still in this shot. That was a tough shot.
Yeah, as you say, fair play to him, he did fully commit, but it was a tough one. So when Ronnie played that poor safety, he had a little bit of run of the ball. Can he take advantage of it now at this visit and get his first frame on the scoreboard? That blue now puts him 7 points behind. So if he gets the black off this last red, he can win this frame without the pink. Well, would you believe it?
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 6.
Well, look again, see if the red jumped. Did a little bit, possibly. That was a heavy contact. Just proves, John, how difficult this game is. We're all used to the way Ronnie's played this season's made it look ridiculously easy at times.
Yeah. But he's got no rhythm going at the moment, has he? He's not got his Q arm going. He's not hitting it as smooth as silk as he normally does. He's got to be a fraction out. And a game that he makes look very easy at times. He's looking very difficult so far, but he'll be pleased with that outcome. Okay, probably not a difficult red to hit, but it's the same old story. He's not hitting it. Can you get it safe?
This is a tester. 3-0 down. Not playing well. What a test of your technique this is. A long way off. Has he got away with it? No.
Certainly not. So Stephen Maguire, 7 points the lead.
One.
Just get a nice angle on the yellow. Looks a formality, but take nothing for granted.
6.
Well, it's going to be a good time for the interval to come for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
So it's Brown to go 22 points ahead with just 18 remaining. And Ronnie O'Sullivan is going to go to the midsection interval with nothing to show for his efforts. And he has made mistakes.
20.
And Stephen Maguire has been picking up the pieces. He needs to pick up his game.
26
so
and a
nice
frame.
pink to go in.
Stephen
So
Maguire.
is there a big shock on the cards here? Ronnie O'Sullivan, one of the big favourites for the tournament, trails Stephen Maguire by 4 frames to 0.
Whoa, now we've got some interesting stuff going on here because we saw Mark Selby in exactly the same situation earlier today against Joe Perry. Now, Matt Hewitt from Pro Snooker Blog has actually tweeted that the last time Ronnie was actually 2-0 down in a match in the first round was against Stephen back in 2005. He's never been 3-0 or 4-0 down in the opening round. Now, can you quantify and gauge how great the trouble he is facing here against Stephen Maguire today?
Well, I think you've got a player that's obviously informed because Stephen Maguire has been looking very confident when he's gone for pots. He hasn't always retained position, but he's dug himself out of problem situations. I think we've got a shot, John, haven't we, here? Stephen Maguire potted a great red, but he left himself distance on the black.
Yeah, I mean, he can just roll up behind the yellow or the green or the brown. He's taken that on, which is a really difficult shot under the cue in circumstances. No hesitation. He's saying that, you know, I'm here to play. I'm confident in what I'm doing. I'm taking my shots on.
And one of the key factors, potentially, in these matches that we've been discussing, because we saw Joe Perry's come through the qualifiers and Stephen Maguire also in extremely good form in the qualifiers. All of these guys have had a couple of weeks where they've really had to play well to get here. They're in full stroke.
Yeah, and the players who they're playing against, of course, they haven't had a match for maybe a week or so, and they're coming here and they're playing against people who are in stroke, in good form, confidence because they've won the matches to qualify, also have that little bit of euphoria about the fact they know they're going back to the Crucible. All those things add up.
It's a fascinating discussion, actually. We're talking about sort of having flat draws where everybody comes in at, say, the 1-2-8. Obviously, World Championship, you want to see the big names at the Crucible. So the 16 are protected and seeded through. But what bizarre situation where it's a disadvantage to be seeded through, that you know the person that's coming up is actually probably more in stroke than you are. Would you then go, no, I actually just want to come through from the start? Of course not. But strange situation to accrue.
Yeah, and of course there were so many complaints about having to go through the 3, but it might just play to advantage. We haven't seen one come through right through and actually win a world title, but maybe, you just never know. So Ronnie in a bit of difficulty, 4-0 down. We'll be back to that shortly. I just want to catch up with Marco Fu. Now, the Hong Kong Cuban world number 11 has had a good record here in recent years, semi-final, quarter-final, last couple of years, but has not played since January after eye surgery. So today was always going to be a very big test for him.
Shortly before the Masters, December last year, I found out that I had a retinal degeneration problem. So I went to see the doctors, and that's what they told me, and they gave me a laser surgery. But I'm still seeing quite a lot of floaters, the black spots in the sky, especially when it's bright, so hopefully they'll go away, but it will probably stay there forever. They might go away in 1 or 2 years, a few months, they're not even sure, but we'll wait and see. It doesn't affect me that much. It's just all in the mind, because sometimes when I play for a few hours, sometimes I play for 4 or 5 hours normally, but now I'm cutting the practice short, a little bit shorter, because I don't want to put too much pressure in the eye. So it's all in the mind, I think playing-wise, it doesn't affect too much. When I'm playing under TV lights, I can see a few more black spots, obviously, but I don't think that's going to affect the playing that much. So yeah, everything's okay. It's great to be back, and after a few months break, I'm feeling fresh. I'm looking forward to playing again. It's always nice to walk out those, curtains, famous Crucible curtains, playing your first match. So, yeah, looking forward to a very tough challenge to me, because I'm playing a very talented young player, Liu Haotian from China. So it's his first time. It's my 15th or 16th time, so there's a little bit difference, in terms of experience. But yeah, it's going to be a great match.
Well, this morning, Marco was facing a man he probably remembers very well. After all, it's not every day that you're beaten by a 14-year-old in front of huge Chinese TV ratings. Well, that's what Liu Haotian did to Marco in Shanghai 6 years ago. And what a confident start here as well for the 20-year-old Crucible new boy. He took a 3-1 lead with his first ton at the Crucible, a 1-2-2 on the way. Marco forged his way back after the interval with a century of his own, a 102 in frame 6, claimed the next as well. So now just the one frame in it. Into frame 8 we go then, and it's Marco at the table and being watched by Peter Ebdon and John Virgo.
We say this game's all about fractions. A fraction more, the cue ball could have dropped in the pocket.
Well, certainly if the cue ball had been 2 millimetres to the left of the screen as we look at it, it would have been snookered on every single red. Wow, what a fantastic safety shot that is. That is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, but where's this cue ball going?
Oh, wow. That is so unlucky. That was a fantastic shot.
It really was, wasn't it?
Very, very unlucky.
In a way, he deserved to just rattle the jaws like Lou did the time before. Good solid pot that was. Right in the heart of the pocket. Black available into both corners. Good chance this.
I think that's one of the big differences with the young players that we see coming through the game now, John. I think it would be fair to say a more experienced professional may well have played that as a shot to nothing. Maybe Ronnie O'Sullivan wouldn't, maybe Neil Robertson wouldn't, but I know that there are a lot of professionals that would have played that as a shot to nothing, just to take the element of risk out of the shot and still giving yourself a chance to score if you do get the red. But he played that full-bloodedly, as you quite rightly say. An excellent pot.
Yeah, and now it's just a test of his cue ball control. It's been found a little bit wanting at times, even though he has made a lovely break of 122 and 51 and a few breaks in the 40s.
17. 24. 25.
Just looking to see what if anything, is available into the left corner. May have to play a little cannon here just to hold the white. Well, no, he could hold it just by rolling and playing for the red to the left middle. So, still
32.
got nice control of the cue ball. Just makes every shot that much easier.
$33. Thank you, just give me a second.
Once again, you heard the referee say, give me a second, because the pink spot's not available. Noticeable in this contribution, Peter, that he's been giving it a lot of thinking time. You don't want to overthink sometimes these situations, and he's not perfect on this red. Okay, it's easy to pot, but I don't think it's a natural just to drop it in and
39.
Finish on the black.
Thank you.
It may be, but we'll see how he plays it. Oh, looking from that angle, yes.
40. Thank you.
And now this time we'll definitely have to play a cannon. And with a bit of force.
And if it's the middle of the three reds here, he could well push a red towards the right centre. He didn't hit it hard enough to do that, but I think he's okay. I think he's got one into the red, into the right centre anyway.
47. $48.
Well, after losing the last frame as he did, every credit to him for this response.
55.
Yes, John, this is a very, very good reply. He's got very good temperament, this young man, and you have to beat the top players that he's beaten so far in his short career.
56.
But once again, we see an example of a very poor positional shot. It's definitely the weakest part of his game.
$62. $65.
Quick glance at the scoreboard.
Quiet, please.
69 points to lead. So just needs the red. That will put him 70 points in front with only 67 remaining. I'd be just concentrating on potting this red, young man. I wouldn't be thinking about how I'm going to develop the pink. You only need one more pot, and your opponent will need a snooker. And in it goes.
Thank you. 66.
So this is very impressive. Should have won the last frame, he knows that. And to come out and react like this after losing that last frame, very good.
70.
And of course, winning
71.
this frame means he's got to 5, so he's going to have a lead going into that second session tomorrow. The question is, will it be 1 frame or will it be 3 frames?
77. 78.
Already made a 122 break in frame 3. Chance of the second is second and the third century of this match.
$84. 85. 91. 92. 99.
Very well played.
100.
Very well played. That's another excellent century.
$107.
Yeah, perfect frame really. Solid opening pot. And has had good control of the cue ball in the main.
109. Thank you.
So Marco Fu has a fight on his hands.
112.
He'll be building himself up for the last frame of this session. And an important one it is, as I say, it could be a 3-frame deficit or just 1. Big difference.
121. 127. 127 on the front.
Another wonderful break and a great response to losing the last frame, which he should have won, but he's now certain of an overnight lead. Liu Haiqian leads Marco Fu 5-3.
Yes, a second excellent century of the match for Liu, and a great response actually from 3-4 as Marco was beginning to exert the pressure. In fact, he came out in the 9th frame and knocked in an 87 here. So the man who is world ranked 68, he's the lowest ranked qualifier and the youngest as well this year, age 20. Well, he hasn't been fazed by his Crucible debut at all, has he? It's 6-3, and he takes a 3-frame lead into the concluding session tomorrow evening. Very, very good opening performance from the youngster. Now, Ronnie O'Sullivan, 5-time world champion, 5-event winner this season, is facing the biggest round 1 test in all of his 26 appearances at the Crucible. He's never been 4-0 down before, and Glasgow's Stephen Maguire has beaten the Rocket only once in the last decade, has a chance here to further increase his discomfort. 5 more frames to play in this opening session this afternoon. John Virgo, Stephen Hendry, they are going to be fascinating.
The 5th frame.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Hazel. Ronnie O'Sullivan has got to start producing. And the thing is, Stephen, we know he can, but there's been no sign of it really yet.
No, it has to be. He's yet to get in. Possibly, well, of course, the first frame he missed a black off his spot, but since then he's not had any easy chances to win frames. I think he got a kick in the last frame, on the last red. But Steve Maguire, what target has he set himself now for a lead going into the second session? I think he would possibly set himself, if I can get 7-2, I can win this little mini session 3-2. A bit fortunate there. He missed the red by so far. The cue ball travelled into the bunch. If he missed that a little bit thicker, he'd have left Ronnie a lovely, easy opener.
Well, Stephen can't find a path back to the balk end. Maybe hoping for a toucher here, will Ronnie. Let's see what Jan Verhaas says.
It's touching ball, Ronnie.
Touching ball, so the stalemate will be ended now. Nice easy run back to the balk end of 3 cushions. Well, he'd be a bit disappointed with that. Should have found the balk cushion there.
Yeah, he sacrificed the easy balk cushion, the cue ball near the green pocket, to he widened the angle because he thought getting the cue ball to the middle of the balk cushion would be a better safety shot.
He can get through to this red, and he's taking it on. Oh, cracker. Full ball kiss on the green will do nicely and leave him on the ground.
You know, shot of the match so far. This was just magnificent cueing. We have to play a little stun shot. 1 cushion for the red above the black to the right corner. Well, that's a very aggressive shot. As it worked out, he didn't need to play that. I think he's okay. He's got a red to left middle.
5.
Just must have thought maybe the angle in the brown was too acute. He didn't fancy playing the touch shot.
Six.
Big frame this for Steve Maguire to keep the momentum going.
Yeah, and I think that long red that he started this visit with will instill even more confidence into him. Now the big question is, does the black go to the left corner? Although the way he's landed on the red just above the black, it probably doesn't matter one way or the other. Well, does it go? Not all the pocket available.
I think we've seen so far, they are going in off the jaw, especially at a slow pace. And it definitely goes in the left half of the pocket as we look at it. Not happy. He wants to be right behind the black if he's going to play to the left corner. I think he's playing up for the blue, digging down in the cue ball. And the percentage shot, and he's played it very well.
Yes, inch perfect. Of course, the black freely goes into the right corner. Just making certain that the black
16.
is on its spot. He doesn't want to be potting the black and then getting it tied up. Oh, the dreaded kick.
17.
The dreaded kick.
Yeah, I was just going to say, John, this is an important visit to the table. As I say, momentum, the way the balls are situated. If he missed and let Ronnie in, it's a chance to get his cue arm going. Big shot, this black. No. This could be a turning point in this match.
Stephen Maguire, 17.
And that thud you heard with Stephen banging the rest on the table, you have to say he was unlucky. Now Ronnie has got to step up the gears. It's just not happening.
Settle down, please. Thank you.
Well, you wouldn't think this is the same player that's dominated the snooker season so far.
Not there, but he did play it with an element of shot for nothing.
Yeah, but why, John? Why be negative now?
Yep, absolutely. You don't want to go in your shell. To push on.
5 frames still to go in this session. The last thing you do, especially against Ronnie O'Sullivan, is try and protect a lead. He's never been a negative player, Steve Maguire.
Now I think he can get through to the red to the left middle. It's a tough one, and of course if he missed it, he would leave Ronnie that red over the far left corner. And okay, he could just trickle into the reds to have it safe. It's a tough shot. Big decision to make here now. Well, every credit, he went for it. Oh, and he may have got away with it. He may just have got away with it. I suppose the only thing that, if Ronnie can't get through the red right over the corner, he could play one red in off the other. Well, he played the plan. I'm thinking about it, wasn't that difficult.
1.
So now, highest break at the moment is, well, you wouldn't even call it a break in Ronnie's stratosphere, 27. So he needs to step up on that and take advantage now of this gilt-edged opportunity.
4.
Yeah, I was just thinking that
5.
John, when he put that plant left-handed, he's so good. I think maybe an idea just to play left-handed for a wee while, break it up a little bit.
Well, I know he does that sometimes in practice. I think he was hoping that he could pot the black and maybe run into the reds, but it's probably a half-ball pot. It may swing just a bit too wide. So playing for the red in the balk end. Looks to have got a nice line. Good length.
12.
That shot there might have just given him a little bit of inspiration.
$13.
Could have played that better. Well, that's so unlucky. Just the reaction on the cue ball there was sensational.
This was dreamy.
15. $16.
That was a good pot. Needs this to slow down.
19. $20.
And he's not had a lot of table time. Well, he's had table time, but he's not been scoring, so he's still trying to find the pace of the table. There you see. Percentage-wise, it's all been Stephen Maguire, 71% table time.
25.
So Ronnie's still trying to get that cue arm moving and the pace of the table.
26.
$14 points to the lead now. He's still going to need one of those two awkward reds
31.
near the cushion to clinch the frame at this visit.
32.
I wonder will he be tempted to take that red off the cushion. The one near that left middle here. No, he's playing the stun. Frightened of perhaps leaving the cue ball tight on the side cushion.
39. 40.
Yeah, this time pink. And now I would say a half ball pink to the left corner he'll leave after this red. So he can just stun across.
46.
Take that red off the side cushion.
47.
Playing for the black, but the pink was the easier shot.
You've always got to be careful with these. You can always push them past the middle pocket. And he didn't get the cannon.
Okay, I don't expect Ronnie to get the cannon, but I think it's unmissable from the pink.
So he doesn't win the frame at that visit, but he's got a healthy lead, but with all the colours on the spots, you never know. 37 points in front, 43 remaining. Played the cross double, and the reason professionals don't like playing doubles, because if they don't go in, you don't know where the red's going to finish up, and he's left it. And it looks like Ronnie O'Sullivan has got his first frame on the scoreboard. There you see it, 45 ahead, 35 remaining.
8. Ronnie
Stephen's
O'Sullivan,
thinking about it.
8.
He's going to come back, but looks forlorn hope, needing 3 snookers.
Thank you.
Yep, not bad. And well, is the 2-cushion escape on, going past the middle pocket? No, I didn't think it was. Didn't think it was. Of course, no miss can be called.
Stephen Maguire,
at the snooker's required stage. But there's one of the snookers that was required. Still another 2 needed.
Green moved, yeah. Green moved. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4, frame conceded. Frame Ronnie O'Sullivan.
So that's enough, and you hear the cheers from this packed Crucible crowd. Ronnie O'Sullivan has got a frame on the board, but he still trails 4-1.
Yes, indeed, the number 2 seed finally finds a little bit of rhythm and a contribution of 50 there, and it could have been so different from Maguire's perspective, that frame, John.
Oh, he'd be absolutely sitting there spitting feathers. He's got the balls in perfect position there. It's absolutely perfect. A run through on the black. He's 4-0 up. He's in command. Ronnie's had no table time, and then he gets the dreaded kick, and he gets an absolute shocker. And all of a sudden, he's got to play the black with the rest. There's a lot more pressure on that. And that was the chance that went. And that one ball, I should say, sometimes they can change momentum in matches.
And his reaction, banging the cue, he knew exactly that himself. And you just wonder how much that eats away at your brain, knowing that you could have gone 5-0 up there.
Yeah, and it's about the momentum that's lost. And if you've got a player on the ropes, you've got a chance to keep him there. And you let a class player off the hook, and you're in a situation where he can come back. Because we know how quickly Ronnie O'Sullivan can win frames. But he's still not looking great at the moment, Ronnie. But you just see sort of like a little bit of table time for Ronnie O'Sullivan. You can get back in the groove.
Is it about rhythm? Is it about just finding your feet out there, Steve?
I think it's always about rhythm on a snooker table. It's about getting table time. And if the other guy's making you sit in your chair, you're never going to be as fluent as you would be otherwise.
No, he didn't win in one visit there. But what I will say is the break he made in that frame just before he left the final 2 reds there was very good. That was an easy break by a long stretch. So there was definitely green shoots there.
Okay, back we go.
Good opening pot there from Ronnie, albeit a poor break-off shot from Stephen.
Yes, very
4.
early to say. It's still only 4-1, but has Steve Maguire missed his chance to really lay a big foundation to win this match? We all know how quickly Sullivan can accumulate frames if he gets going.
12.
I wouldn't rule out yet Ronnie Sullivan leading this session 5-4.
13.
Just a couple of loose reds. He's on this one.
20.
If you could get a nice angle on the blue, he'd settle for that.
21.
There is one loose red, and that's where he's looking now if he left the cue ball there. in such a position in
Stand
potting
still,
it, he
guys,
could bring
please.
other
Thank you.
reds into play.
Okay.
And that's the intention. I don't think he'd play the run through for the black.
26.
I think that's a bit risky. I think he'd play the screw back. And it's worked out nicely. Well, I say nicely, wrong angle on the pink. He's going to have to take the cue ball in and out of the balk end, so balk colours to avoid. And did it with a minimum of fuss.
33.
Well, for most of the season, you would say that's frame over now, the way the balls are situated. Well, he's not hit top gear yet, but it's slowly coming. Normally the way to
41.
tell with Ronnie O'Sullivan is with that cue ball. He's got that under control.
42.
It's a sure sign that he's focused and in the zone.
49.
Nudge into the edge, knew he'd be on this one. He didn't have to do much with the cue ball, so this case of rolling it in. Well, he had to do a little bit.
50.
He had to inject a little bit of pace, and considering he played that well, he's not perfect on the black. When I say he wasn't perfect on the black, he was forced to play the cannon.
57.
And that cannon could have worked out a little bit better than it has. It was just the angle he had on the black. He had to play the cannon to keep the white at this end of the table. As I say, and it could have worked out a bit better. This is a testy red if he's playing it to the right middle, because they've looked a bit nippy, these middle pockets. But he played it well. And now all set fair to get his second frame on the scoreboard.
$65.
So just looking for another red and a colour.
$66.
All of a sudden, the look and the body language around the table is in a different league to the first four frames.
72. 73. $80. 81. $88. 89. $95. 96.
The black for the 6th century of the tournament so far. That's what people come to see. And an excellent contribution there from Ronnie.
103. 104.
Three more frames to be played in this session. Remember, best of 19,
109.
9 frames in the first session. And this match is played to a finish tomorrow morning.
111. $114. 180.
Ice break made so far by Lou Alchian. The blue was in and popped out again. But that will do for Ronnie O'Sullivan, and just signs that he's starting to get into his stride. But he still trails by 2 to Stephen Maguire.
Well, he's been grounded on the launch pad for much of this match, but I think it's official. It's liftoff for the rocket, and suddenly, from 0 to 70, he's up there, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that's his strength, really. Given a chance, some players would sort of have to get themselves into it quite slowly, but Ronnie can just switch that switch, as you say. And it's as if he's a different player, and that is, I think, something that's basically the pure natural talent of the man.
Now, how much does Stephen Maguire have to try and put that kick a couple of frames back out of his mind? Because is there a bit of you suspect he might be... Well, it would be only natural if he were to sit there brooding about that.
Well, I think he'll talk about it later. The moment he's got a match to play, so that's one of those things that you have to put in the back of your mind. As difficult as it is, and we've all been there, it's one of those things that's gone. He's got frames to play for the rest of it, but there's no doubt it's changed the momentum of the match. That is without a shadow of a doubt. Because, as I say, Ronnie had no table time. It could very well have gone 5-0. It'd have been a different outcome. But now O'Sullivan's in the game. He's got a foothold in it. And the last frame, he was back to vintage O'Sullivan. So all of a sudden, from 4-0 and comfortable, it's 4-2 and you're not comfortable.
Absolutely, he's half the deficit. Now, I should remind you that we will be leaving you at 25-5, but you will be able to follow this one on the red button. In fact, everything is going to be live on at least one of our platforms. If it moves in the Crucible Theatre, we will be showing it, whether it's red button or online coverage via the BBC Sport website over the next 17 days. Between now and May the 7th, you will not miss a thing. But you will possibly have to sort of mix and match between the odd screen. If ever there was a time to get the old second screen fired up, this is it. So we'll enjoy the last few moments here on BBC One.
Decent break-off shot from Ronnie. i.e. he's got a good cue ball, and the black is not available into the left corner pocket, so I don't see the value in taking this on for Stephen. Well, I'm not quite certain why he did, and he's just gifted Ronnie a chance straight away.
Well, I never, playing topspin, there never looked to be a way around the back of the black for me. That was a slight shot of desperation.
1.
Okay, kick aside, that 5th frame was just, always felt so massive for Steve Maguire in this match. Keep the hammer down.
9.
I think if you gave Steve Maguire 5-4 ahead, Johnny, bite your hand off.
Yeah, but when, as we saw rightly say, it looked as for all the world it could have been 5-0. He'd have been looking for something better than that, but the ball robbed him with that kick. But this, of course, as well, is the beauty of the World Championship and the number of frames that are played, you know.
24.
It gives a chance for a bit of luck to even out here or there, and players to settle into the game and produce the best snooker, and that's why the best snooker is usually
25.
Produced here at the Crucible Theatre.
This is the 4th red and black, but I think with that positional shot, that's the end of
32.
Any thoughts of 147s? Yeah, this tournament's all about momentum.
33.
These long matches, how long can you keep it to yourself? You can win these 2-session matches, multi-session matches in the first session.
35.
Ronnie just had a luck, but this is red's unmissable, and he should be able to hold for a baulk colour quite comfortably.
36.
And the reason he also wanted to get rid of that red, I think it was stopping the blue from going into that middle pocket. So you'd have to say this is an excellent chance. And at the mid-session interval, 4-0 behind. Seems a distant memory now.
$46. 47. $54.
Well, it looks as though the rocket is out of crisis mode for the time being. At least we're going to have to leave this one, as I said we would have to. You can continue to watch it on the red button. By the way, Kyron Wilson, the world number 9, 3-1 up at their interval against Matthew Stevens. That's online. Everything, as I say, is going to be live, at least one of our platforms, over the next 17 days. Now, meanwhile, Jason Mohammed will be in the chair on BBC 2 at 7 as Mark Selby, the defending champion, comes back, aiming to overturn a 7-2 deficit against Joe Perry, in a real bruising contest in the making. Online as Ali Carter meets former champ Graham Dott, who's always ready for Sheffield. My thanks to John and to Steve, who found their groove instantly. It's like you've never been away, guys. But as for questions, the top seed, Mr. Selby, and the second seed, Mr. O'Sullivan, being asked some really tough questions on this opening day. We'll catch you again soon. Bye for now.
Hello from Wembley, where in about an hour's time, Manchester United and Tottenham will face each other